condemning what has happened in Russia. Multiple reactions have been coming in, but once again, let's take a look at really what transpired there in Russia. How Jews really were targeted there. All right, and after seeing the visible fear on the faces of these little children who were on the bus, there are also reports which came in of anti-Jewish acts, how they spread to the neighboring areas. Protesters, they besieged a hotel also. They terrorized the Jewish refugees there. Take a look at these gut-wrenching visuals as well. All right, on one hand, there is a blatant hate on display, and on the other, as far as Israel is concerned, breaking news coming in, they are saying that ground forces have eliminated dozens of Hamas terrorists reportedly who had gathered in a building in Gaza Strip. In one incident, the troops directed the Air Force to carry out a drone strike on a Hamas staging ground, reportedly killing 20 operatives. That's the latest claim coming in as far as IDF is concerned. IDF saying that they have managed to eliminate dozens of Hamas members in one go. They had struck a building near the Gaza Strip, and they say that in this airstrike, which was staged by the Israeli Air Force, at least 20 Hamas operatives have been killed. Remember, as far as Israel is concerned, they have been going after the top leadership of Hamas. But what about really, the anti-Jew sentiment also, which we have seen in Russia? To talk more about that and, of course, the Israeli operations, we are being joined by Arsen Ostrovsky. He's the CEO of International Legal Forum from Tel Aviv. Thank you, sir, for joining us, sir. First of all, taking you through, the latest visuals which have come in from Russia. Extremely disturbing. Many are saying that this is nothing but blatant hate on display. What do you have to say, sir, about those visuals?
The visuals are just disturbing and jarring, and this is just pure Jew hatred on display. And we have seen this throughout history, especially in Russia. We have seen in the pogroms of the last century, and this is a repeat of that. This was no more than an ugly mob attempting to lynch Jewish passengers, Jews. This is very disturbing, and I should think that the Russian authorities ought to condemn this unequivocally and immediately without reservation.
And so what do you have to say, about the type of reaction which has been coming from the world? Because the US has supported you. There's a reaction coming in as far as, Ukraine is concerned. Many calling out the so-called Jew hate, which is on blatant display in Russia. From airports to hotels, we can see how, these so-called Palestinian supporters were literally hunting for Israeli citizens, sir, there.
Oh, it is disturbing. I mean, what we're seeing is the conflict between Israel and the Hamas terrorist group now spilling overseas. We're seeing it in Russia, as we saw just now, with a mob attempting to lynch Jewish passengers. We're seeing it on the streets of Europe, in London, and campuses in America. It is very disturbing. We're seeing not what is pro-Palestinian rallies, but we're seeing pro-Hamas rallies. These are people, these are meant to be enlightened people, these are meant to be educated people who are out there, who are not condemning Hamas, but they are supporting the Hamas. They're supporting their atrocious barbarism and savage actions we've seen. And I think, and I believe, and I'm certain that everyone of peace, everyone to be condemning these ugly, just really disturbing anti-Semitic scenes we're seeing around the world.
Right. You're saying, sir, the world should come together and condemn these ugly scenes. But, as an expert of international law, would you say, sir, that it is a violation, first of all, of international law?
You mean some of the rallies that we are seeing?
The rallies we are seeing, the type of incident we saw there in Russia, how the mob was looking for Israelis reportedly coming into Russia, sir.
Look, absolutely. I mean, there are laws within each country that differ within, whether it's in Europe, UK, America, in Russia, for that matter. But what we are seeing, this is not an expression of political speech or a debate or a discussion. This is pure incitement to violence, and I think that is something that is not only reprehensible but illegal in most countries around the world. This is nothing about promoting Palestinian rights. This is nothing about expressing political expression about Israel's actions. This is pure incitement to violence, and it must be not only condemned, but the police and the legal authorities must take immediate action.
You're saying that the police there in Russia should take immediate action, sir, and we'll discuss that in detail. But, for the benefit of our viewers, let's once again play some of those videos, really, the so-called, anti-Jewish act which were conducted, how the Israelis, were terrorized, and how these people there in Russia went on literally a hunt for Jews and Israelis.
Look, I mean, the Israeli authorities have condemned this act immediately and have called on the Russian authorities to likewise. I'm not aware of a formal response as of this moment, but I should certainly think that one ought to be forthcoming. Russia must condemn this violent, barbaric, and horrible scenes that we saw from the airport without any reservation or without any further delays.
Right, and what action do you think, sir, should follow? Because as far as Russia is concerned, there has not been any palpable action yet. We are still awaiting, really, if any criminal action is taken against those who stormed the airport. The international community is supporting you. What type of, action would you now demand, sir?
I would hope that the Russian authorities locate every one of the people that were involved in attempting to lynch the Jewish passengers and bring them into for investigation and charge them with appropriate crimes.
Sir, why don't you stay with us? Once again, we'll play out some of the videos, as I said earlier, for the benefit of our viewers. Really, the world is condemning this type of anti-Jew hate, which we have seen there in Russia. But let's take a look, really, at how the mob went on a rampage, ransacked and literally stormed into, an airport looking for Jewish and Israelis there in Russia. Right, extremely disturbing videos, to say the least, sir. You said earlier that, possibly it's a violation of international law. What do you think, can happen next as far as Russia is concerned? Any action which the international community also can push Russia to take as far as, acting on this mob is concerned?
Look, I think there also needs to be not only legal action, but certainly political pressure against Vladimir Putin and the Russian authorities to unequivocally condemn the lynch mob that we saw at the airport and to take action against them, to locate those who are responsible for attempting to carry out this violent act and to bring them in for questioning and for further legal charges.
Absolutely. Condemnable incident, disturbing visuals. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Of course, many saying that this is a violation of international law. Some action should follow. Russia also should act on this mob. International community obviously already condemning the scenes which we have seen in Israel. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast, sir. With that, we'll step into a short commercial break. News and updates on the other side. Don't go anywhere.